Hey there, we're Book Talk for Book Talk with Jack and Amy, your book besties who take the novels you love seriously.
This is Jack.
And I'm Amy.
And together we mix smart analysis with fandom fun, so let's get into it.
This is our Breadcrumbs and Broomsticks episode where we read your thoughts and interpretations as well as discuss Breadcrumbs from chapters 43 through 50 of Sarah J. Maas's A Court of Silver Flames.
Before we dive in, don't forget Spilt. Spoilers, perspective, interpretation, language, themes. We are serious about spoilers. This is all things SJM, SJM verse, SJM interview, and
SJM theories.
Yeah.
If you would like more information, please go back and listen to the start of yesterday's episode. And if you want to submit your thoughts for our Breadcrumbs and Broomsticks episodes in the future, make sure to follow us on Instagram where we collect listener submissions, or head to our website, booktalkforbooktalk.com.
Let's start with some breadcrumbs. We use broomsticks to sweep up breadcrumbs. In chapter 43, Nesta watches, quote, she's like watching the house. There, in the heart of the black pit, like tendrils of smoke, something moved. It seemed to expand and contract, throbbing, a wild beat. Now, Amy said, this is like the house that represents her. Yes, or Cat Daddy Adis.
That is a theory.
It's my theory. I don't know if it's internet's theory, but when I read that, I was like, that seems suspicious.
In chapter 44, Nesta suggests that they combine Valkyrie techniques with Illyrian training. Quote, she'd meant it in jest, but the words rumbled through the space, as if she'd spoken some great truth, something that made fate sit up. So, two thoughts. Is this what allows them to finish the blood rite? Because they combine Valkyrie and Illyrian training, and or will there be more significance to this in future ACOTAR books?
That's a yes. Same chapter, during the dinner at the River House, Elain says something, and then, quote, Azriel offered her a small smile that Elain quickly looked away from. Cassian tucked away his puzzlement. It's setting up for the Winter Solstice secret chapter.
Why Cassian's puzzled? I don't know.
He's a dumb boy.
Still in chapter 44, Elain tells everyone that Nesta, quote, was trained in dance from a very young age. She loves it and music. In the way that performers make an art of it, Nesta could bring an entire ballroom to a halt when she danced with someone. AKA setting up for the Eris dance sequence at the Court of Nightmares.
I can't believe that happened so late in the book.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the timing of this is just like, this is when it happens.
Yeah.
And now that it's hitting us, like as we were about to record, Amy was like, episode 8, which means there's only 4 more episodes left to do. There's not much book left, and there's just so much more to do.
There's so much more content coming our way.
After Elain tells the group about Nesta's history with the Duke when she was 14, Cassian thinks, quote, Nesta was wrong. Cassian realized to think Elain as loyal as a loving dog. Elain saw every single thing Nesta had done and understood why. This is potential setup for Elain's future book. I think it's a dumbass statement. Not what Amy wrote, but what Cassian wrote, not your note. It's just like, wow, she understands everything Nesta does. She's observing. Then, stop being so stupid right now, Elain. Okay.
In chapter 46, while Feyre is processing that the delivery of her baby will probably kill her and the unborn child, quote, Feyre began shaking. If I die, her gaze drifted to one of her tattooed arms. As a reminder, it's because she has a bargain with Rhys that means neither one will live if one of them dies.
No one knows.
Yeah, no one else knows. Not yet.
In chapter 49, The Sleeping Mountains, quote, it was all so still, yet watchful somehow, as if she were surrounded by something ancient and half awake, as if each peak had its own moods and preferences.
I forgot to write a note, so I'll explain myself. We learn later, both in this book, that Lanthus comes from under a mountain, emerges from a mountain, and we learn in Crescent City, Flame and Shadow, that there's an Asteri sleeping under the prison mountain. So if these are sleeping mountains, are there more Daglan Valg Asteri people under them?
As someone who is currently listening to the graphic audio version, and thank God I am because I have zero memory of that book, the Asteri that they find under the prison, she says that there are pockets of power that they have hidden throughout the kingdom because they need to be able to access that power at any given point.
So I
Yeah.
feel like these are all important. I think Ramiel's important. The Sleeping Mountains. There's a lot to come.
In my head, I grab my boobs and I go, these sleeping mountains. And I'm just really proud I held back and only described what I thought and not actually did it.
Yeah.
Hey, that's called growth and self-restraint. Same chapter. Nesta's thinking, quote, she'd been born wrong, had been born with claws and fangs, and had never been able to keep from using them, never been able to quell the part of her that roared at betrayal, that could hate and love more violently than anyone ever understood. Elain had been the only one who perhaps grasped it, but now her sister loathed her.
Again, just going back to this idea, and we discussed it earlier in the episode, does this hint at Archeron lineage and Mama Archeron, and why do these humans have Fey mates, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, there's another point where she points at Tamlin, and she's like, pointing at you, and he's like, put that finger away, witch. And then I'm just like, witch, iron teeth.
Yeah. Yep.
Boom. All right. So this is my favorite part of the episode, and that's where we stop thinking and you guys do the work.
I mean, we do some thinking. We have to respond.
Yeah, we have to. You're right. You guys do more. Take care of our thinking. Thank you. So we posted it on Instagram. Tell us your thoughts on Nesta telling Feyre the truth about the baby. Was it right, wrong, both? Did it happen because of Amren? The timing of when it happened in 65% of the book, the setting of Amren's apartment, and then I posted it late because we were like, oh shit, we haven't posted anything. We have so many responses. It's so funny.
That's amazing.
Like the good soldiers you guys are, there are a number of emails. You guys were like, hey, we hear you. I got thoughts. But they did it through the submission form. And as always, anyone who submits through our submission form on our website gets preferential treatment. So, because it's easier for us to read it.
And track it.
Okay, so this is from Rachel. This is more of a word vomit than a coherent response, but I have so many feelings here that I just had to share. Feyre absolutely needed to be told about the baby. We cannot withhold information from women about their pregnancy or medical status, even out of a highly misguided sense of wanting to protect them. I'm looking at you, Rhysand, do better. With love, LOL. But women deserved informed consent, please. Nesta telling Feyre in the way she did, when she did, super wrong time and delivery. Nesta didn't tell Feyre in the moment because she felt it was the right thing to do. Nesta wielded that information like a knife to lash out because she felt betrayed by Amren, someone she considered possibly her only friend in Prythian before the barge argument, and because she felt disrespected by Feyre, who won't order Amren around but is perfectly comfortable ordering Nesta around. Oh, that's true. Sibling dynamics from the human world much? Actually, yeah, you're right.
That's a great point.
That's a good thought. That's not saying that Nesta doesn't care about Feyre or making sure she knows about her and the baby's safety concerns. She does. But this moment was not planned or handled with love and care. Nesta reacted with rage and pain, and she screwed up and she knows it, which is why she doesn't fight Cassian when he scoops her out of the city and flies away from Rhys. Shout out to Feyre's emotionally mature reaction after finding out. You go, girl. Be mad at the real villains. Medical professional who fails to treat their female patient with due respect, autonomy, and men, plus Amren, and not your sister who needs hella therapy and ultimately did the right thing for wrong reasons. I don't think it happened because of Amren's response to Nesta, more as a result of Feyre's words. I think Nesta just reaches a point where she's taken too many emotional shots, redirects the pain back outwards on instinct from after Feyre's differing treatment of her and Amren during the argument. That is fair. We did not even clock that. In the argument, she's like, Amren, and doesn't tell her what to do because she respects her.
You stay here.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I think this is a fabulous point to discuss because Rachel, A, brilliant, B, Amren doesn't have power anymore. All she can do is float a book to herself. She is no different than any other High Fae. Nesta, on the other hand, is equivalent to Rhys and Feyre herself in terms of power, theoretically. Therefore, should Feyre not be treating Nesta as an equal in terms of power, her older sister? And to what extent does Nesta feel condescended to, patronized by Feyre when Nesta has more actual physical power, right? Amren can't do anything if she gets mad at Feyre. Actually, if anything, Amren should fucking fall in line.
So true. It's funny. You were saying that Amren, all she can do is float a book and she doesn't have any real power. Meanwhile, Nesta only has real power and she can't float a book.
Yeah, that's...
It's like us. We make one strong person and one very weak person.
Yeah.
I love this concept. I love the concept that the way that Feyre treats Amren in this argument is so different than the way that she treats Nesta. And Amren needs to fall in line more. Yeah, she's like, I mean, what? Now she's just old and wise?
Not that wise.
Yeah, no. It means you're just old, bitch. No, I hate saying that. You're just a cunt. You know, that feels better.
Here's the other thing, and I thought about this but didn't bring it up when you were talking about Amren being, like, not perturbed by how Nesta was sexualized at 14.
Mm-hmm.
If you've lived as long as Amren, which is at least 15,000 years, probably more, because she just barely came through the split in the world 15,000 years ago. So she's probably older than that. She has no concept of time. She has no respect for time. Why is she the one we're listening to when she has no concept of mortality and the fleetingness and actual real relationships? I don't know. I used to love her. I continue to be bothered by her right now. I think that it is actually kind of shitty on Feyre's part. I know Nesta maybe has not done anything yet to deserve Feyre's respect, but I do think Feyre's falling into old habits and old power dynamics among the sisters. And if Nesta needs to change to heal the sisters' relationship, Archeron sisters, Feyre has to as well.
Yeah. I can only imagine how it feels like for Nesta in that moment, thinking, I have done so much work and you guys are just treating me the exact same. And again, I think we might have touched on it, but like at one point fair, but at the same time, like they don't know. You know, you're not giving them report cards and you would hate that.
Right. I'm not defending Nesta's actions. I think we should also be clear.
There'll be someone mad.
Yeah. But I think it is important for us to examine all sides. I have a lot of empathy and pain for Feyre, but I think Feyre also fell into bad habits, old habits.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. All right. Shall I read another one before you go into DMs? This is from Amanda on a response of Nesta telling Feyre. No, Nesta probably shouldn't have told Feyre about the baby, but she was caught up in the fury/hurt of information being withheld from her. She was feeling betrayed by Cassian for keeping secrets when she was starting to trust him more, Amren for voting against her, quote, breaking her trust, and then her overarching complex relationship with Rhys. When the opportunity to pass that hurt on to someone else, she takes it. Her fury and magic inside her cannot allow herself to think clearly, and when Feyre arrives at the apartment, she sees the opportunity. She instantly regrets it when she sees how it hurts Feyre. Obviously, this moment was needed to reach Nesta's true breaking point when she hikes with Cassian. I love the inner circle, but they are not their best crew to outsiders, even with their mates. And it makes you question, do they really trust anyone outside the main five? Quote, secret voting without everyone involved. Rhys Amren calling the shots without their high lady.
This is such a good point, and I didn't think about that until this, but if information is power, Nesta up until this point did not know about the made weapons, Feyre up until this point did not know about the baby, so who has the most power? Rhys, Cassian, Azriel, Amren. Those are the people with power.
Yep.
Not even Moore knows because she's out doing her own thing, right? Or she's not doing her own thing. She's doing what Rhys has told her to do. And who's calling the shots? Rhys and Amren.
Yeah.
And so it does prevent Feyre from being Rhys's equal, from Nesta being anybody's equal, and continues to support Amren's case for why Rhys should be High King. Because information is being kept from Feyre, so she could never be High Queen.
Yeah.
And in that way, Amren controls and justifies her recommendation that Rhys should be High King.
You said a lot of good words. I don't know if I have any other good words to tell you in there. I was trying to think of a different thought, and then I forgot that thought, and then I got caught up trying to think of another thought I forgot. It was a vicious cycle in my head, but I agree with everything you said. It's funny because you were saying that Amren is like, you know, only has power in name, but not actually. I mean, now that's the truth with Feyre, right? She only has power in name. And even though Rhys says Feyre will be the deciding vote,
She doesn't know about her own body.
Yeah. I mean, what's interesting about it is I like that they're doing this whole voting thing and they're trying to show diplomacy here, but at the same time, that's her sister. I think whatever the hell she says goes. I mean, honestly, I think whatever, like, Nesta deserves to know, but...
Also, there was no vote about informing Feyre.
Right? Yeah.
So, in a lot of ways, Feyre is the one most disadvantaged.
Would you like to hit up some of the requests first, or do you have something lined up?
I can hit up the requests first. All right. This first one is from Allison. Allison starts with both. It's right in the sense that Feyre deserves to be able to make informed choices about her own body, but it's wrong in the sense that Nesta was doing it from a place of anger, not a place of caring about Feyre. Nesta just wanted to continue lashing out to cause hurt because she's still hurting. I don't think it's really Amren's fault. Even if Nesta feels hurt by Amren, it doesn't justify her using that as an excuse to hurt someone else. I think the timing, aka 65% of the way into the book, makes sense for story structure because Nesta had to hit the rock bottom at some point with enough time to start climbing back out of her depression hole. Amren's apartment, as the setting, is also part of Nesta trying to cause hurt. I think if she really cared and was looking out for Feyre's best interests, she'd tell Feyre in a private setting at the very least, or give Rhys a final chance to tell his mate before Nesta did. I wish this could be girl code coded, but Nesta is not being a girl's girl.
So I remember the thought that I couldn't have thought. Basically, you know, we're saying like it was right and it was wrong reasons, right actions, but I want to emphasize Nesta didn't know that she cared for Feyre until like the day before. Nesta, when she sees Tamlin, she gets mad at Tamlin. That's the first time that she kind of goes, oh, I actually like care about Feyre a little more than I thought I did. She's surprised by that alone. Would this have happened if she continued to have not cared about Feyre? Yes, she would have gone for the kill. She would have hurt her. You know, the whole point was to hurt someone, but
she wouldn't have felt guilty.
She wouldn't have felt immediate guilt, which is nice. And again, just like great story structure and how that happens and stuff. But it's just fascinating to think about the fact that like Nesta didn't really know that she even loved her sister until literally days before.
I think it's literally one day before.
Yeah.
And I would even argue the flip side, which is if Nesta had realized she actually cared for and was protective of Feyre 2 weeks prior, would this have come out sooner?
Yeah.
And I think to some extent it would have.
Yeah. In my mind, I would like to hope that this was like a ticking time bomb of information.
Yeah.
And that there would have been a moment where maybe Nesta's in the room with everyone and then she remembers, oh shit, Feyre doesn't know. I can't remember which listener said it, but the moment that Nesta lost it was the wording of how Feyre was like, what is it? Like, they respect you or something like that? Like, there's something to do with respect. And it's like, well, if they respect you so much, you're a respected High Lord. And it does come down to like, again, what that was like the first listener was like, it comes down to Nesta not feeling respect. Yeah, I think at a certain point, I would like to imagine that she would have broken down now that she realizes that she does care about her sister.
Yeah, I agree.
Back to emails. This is from Jen. It's been a while since I read that scene, but my memory is that it was, quote, right in the sense that Feyre deserved to know the truth, but also, quote, wrong because Nesta said it in anger. Intention is important, and her intention was not to tell her sister something because she felt it was wrong to keep from her. Therefore, in my opinion, what cannot be wholly seen as right, even if it was important for someone to reveal that truth. I would argue it's more wrong than right in that moment. The reason why I think it leans more towards the wrong than right, and, you know, I can hear people being like, gasp, Jack, how could you? We already know this is a high-risk pregnancy, and you just dropped a bombshell of information that makes it more distressing on mother and baby. We don't know. Does she have preeclampsia? We don't know what her blood pressure is like. It's just like when it comes to expecting mothers, you don't want to be handling them with kid gloves, but at the same time, like, let's not cause the woman who might be killed in delivery more stress on her body.
Right. I think Rhys has a responsibility to share this information because it's his mate, his child. I think he has a responsibility to share the information because he's the one who decided to keep it hidden. I think that there is an obligation and a responsibility to make sure it can be delivered in the safest, softest way possible. And I know it's not information that can be easily received, but certainly it shouldn't be shared during the middle of a fight. There are better circumstances to avoid harm.
I mean, that's literally what Rhys is trying to do, is find solutions so that he can deliver that information in the safest way possible.
Right. Unfortunately, he just took too long to realize there were no options.
There was no option. So I think it's like, yes, it was wrong and right, but why I think it kind of leans more on the wrong side.
Yeah. And I think Nesta ultimately agrees that it's on the wrong side. That's why she's so shaken by it.
There's never a moment of Nesta going, well, she deserved to know. And the fact that Nesta doesn't have that moment, I think we as the reader should also not give Nesta the out if Nesta's not giving herself the out.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, the fact that she thinks of it as one of the worst things that's ever happened in her life, equivalent to Elain going in the cauldron, her father being killed in front of her, like that says a lot. And she feels responsible for it because those are only things she feels responsible for.
Yep.
Okay, this is from Scout. I'm going to be honest. I actually think Nesta was justified in how she reacted towards Amren. The inner circle treated her like shit, and they always assumed the worst of her no matter what. From the beginning of Silver Flames, Amren and subsequently Mor and Rhysand never gave Nesta grace or the benefit of the doubt. They instead jumped straight towards villainizing her. They're also centuries older than Nesta, who's only 25, and they hold power over her. In addition to that, Nesta telling Feyre about the baby shows her frustration towards the inner circle and their double standards. They criticize Nesta's actions and villainize her while they are actively withholding life-threatening information from Feyre. As someone who struggles with anger issues themselves, an outburst like that can come from a place of wanting to seek justice when you feel like you've been wronged. I actually think that this is a good point. I will argue that of everyone, I think it's really limited to Amren and Mor who truly villainize her. Like Rhysand, yes, but he's learning empathy for her.
Yeah.
You realize him starting to be conflicted with his treatment towards Nesta. I don't think he's perfect, but I'm going to give him more credit than I give Amren and more credit than I give Mor. Mor won't give Nesta a chance at all. Amren won't take any accountability for her role in Nesta's isolation. And Amren's just a bitch in general right now. So,
well, it's so funny. I'm happy that you brought it up. I feel like we're all happy. There is so much growth between Rhys learning to respect and understand Nesta that's happening on screen, but you have to really be paying attention to it, which we have been. That's why we put the hours that we do. I mean, we can point out the moments where he saved her from the dream. There's the other moments where in the secret chapter, he says to Feyre that sometimes Nesta's right. Like, he has these very empathetic moments or coming to understand Nesta, seeing that she could be a good courtier. Like, Rhys is coming to his own terms with Nesta. He knows there is no world where there is no Nesta. Like, that's his mate's sister. To your point, like, it's just these bitches, like Amren and Mor. And Mor's not even in the picture right now.
Yeah. And by the way, that's a choice SJM made.
Oh, you know what's funny is I'm not even mad that it's the women, oddly enough.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I should be. And the reason why I'm not, I think, is because of the Emery and the Gwyn.
That's fair.
Is that, to me, I don't get the, like, these are just, because I also don't think these are just girls who are jealous of her. Like, I don't believe that. I think that Nesta represents, for Mor, someone who fought back in a way that Mor maybe felt like she couldn't have when she was younger. Obviously, Nesta represents the Court of Nightmares to her. She said that. Like, Mor has her own issues and traumas that she's going through. And Amren, she's got, like, so many issues. Like, she is figuring out emotions and stuff. So it's like, I can understand it. I don't like it, but this is absolute mean girl behavior, and I am A-okay with it because I don't find the mean girl behavior happening because they're girls and Nesta's a girl and they're jealous.
Right. That's a fair point.
Guys, I'm not always mad. All right, this one is from Jules. Hi there. I saw your prompt on Instagram and boy, do I have thoughts. Also, medium flex. I opened up my copy of Silver Flames to a quick refresh by looking at the top going, that's about 50%. That's about 75%. So that should be 65%. And it opened it right dab in the middle of the scene.
That's amazing.
I know it was 65% because we're reading on Kindle and I could see like it's exactly 65%, but also impressive to you. Okay, first of all, I remember reading the scene and going, whoa. I remember feeling as though it was uncalled for Nesta to share the information in the manner, and technically it wasn't hers to tell. But this takes us back to the whole Rhys of the situation too. Had he been honest with his partner, wife, high lady, mother of his child, there would be no news for Nesta to spill to begin with. I've been pregnant and given birth, and there's no way my health providers would have kept important risk information from me. Additionally, if I didn't understand something, American living in Germany at the time of pregnancy and didn't know the language well, my husband absolutely told me what was going on. So while I do understand Reese was being afraid and in a new position, becoming a father, keeping important medical information from someone is taking away their bodily autonomy, which is already a sensitive topic for a pregnant woman. Secondly, Feyre's developing a baby is not quite the same as Faye's power. However, it's parallel. For a time, that child is literally a part of Feyre. Their lives are intertwined. Nesta and her powers are the same. It can sometimes appear to take on a will of its own, but it and Nesta are also intertwined. The inner circle voting whether or not to give Nesta a vital piece of information regarding her powers is parallel to Reese not sharing a pregnancy health update with Feyre. Are they the same scale? Not quite. I'd argue a risk to life is more heavily weighing issue. However, it's the issue of autonomy. Throughout the book, Nesta had her autonomy stripped away. Yeah, she was a raging bitch way more than once and was 100% not taking care of herself, but it's complicated, right? Being low like she was is much deeper and complex than just she's a bitch. Her friends and her family took a risk by launching her into healing that she may or may not have been ready for, but certainly wasn't getting to it on her own. Lastly, coming back to the Nesta/Amren apartment conflict, we learned that shortly before the confrontation that Nesta finds, everyone voted whether or not to tell her what her power can do regarding imbuing weapons. And here's the full circle. I would guess that Nesta begins to spiral as she goes to confront Amren for a multitude of reasons. Loss of personal/physical autonomy, seeing a pregnant mother, unyielding sense of betrayal. Seeing Feyre in that moment, Nesta is overcome by a sense of betrayal from the inner circle, believing that they were committing another crime against autonomy, and she couldn't stand for it. Nesta didn't initially tell Feyre the news from her own good. Actually, I think she likened it briefly. Feyre to their mother, which potentially caused her to lash out. Nesta has mommy issues, and to see Feyre becoming a mother could be really triggering for Nesta. But as soon as she sees the love in Feyre's eyes for her baby, she initially feels remorse for unloading on Feyre like she did. Page 483. I would guess that Nesta went in there guns blazing and fired off at Feyre because she couldn't stand the secrecy anymore, especially when it came to both Nesta and Feyre's autonomy, or lack thereof. So, should Feyre have been told? Absolutely. Was this the time and place for Nesta to do it? Nope. Was it because of Amren? Not directly, but rather a sum of events and actions taken by the inner circle paired with Nesta's own traumas and experience.
I think that's a really good point in a lot of ways. Whether consciously or not, you could argue that it's the inner circle versus the Archeron sisters, right? And that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And for them to claim that they love their High Lady, to claim that they respect their High Lady, to claim that they care about Nesta and want what's best for her, their decision-making is incongruent with those statements.
Yep.
All right, this message is from Emily, who starts out with, okay, why did I try to fit all of this in the box? Because the box on Instagram does not allow for much.
Because we're trying to get you to send DMs and messages through our forum.
I think it was partially in retribution to Feyre for locking her up and stripping her of her freedom and control. So I guess that means it's wrong. But also because she saw that very thing happening to Feyre by the inner circle, and she felt it was a major betrayal by them to Feyre. So that is also, does that make it right? ? And since Nesta was already the bad guy, Reese's threats didn't get to her. I think it is also a common thing that happens with healing. You improve so much, but some of that healing comes from repressing things you're angry about, and eventually you realize you can't move forward anymore until those feelings are resolved/released. Nesta was getting better, but those negative feelings towards Feyre in the inner circle were still there, and she was probably also angry that she was getting better as a result of them locking her up. So I don't know. It's both, right and wrong. But it feels very real in the context of depression, rehabilitation, healing, etc., and feeling your life is out of your control. I think that's actually a really good point as someone, who's been to therapy for more than 10 years. My mother's like, why are you still in therapy?
And then 15 minutes later in the conversation, you go, right here, Mom.
Yeah, this
right
is why.
here.
I think that is such a great point, that it's easy to identify things to heal if it means you get to avoid the hard things. And then your healing plateaus until you're willing to address the hard things. And that's what we're seeing with Nesta in a lot of ways. She's able to train, she's able to make new friends, but that's the extent of her healing until she can resolve the issues between her and her sisters, between her and the inner circle, etc., right? She would never reach her full healing potential until those harder things are addressed.
And to put it in the reference of Aaron, our trainer, Amy and I are seeing the same trainer. Nesta's in maintenance calories, just like deficit currently. And what she really needs is a cut, is that hardcore cut. It's also, I feel like it's a great metaphor. Like
no,
she needs
it's a good metaphor.
Like
if you're weight training.
If you're weight training, yes. But it is true. Like it's all surface level healing until you're willing to go for the hard stuff. Like it's not fake. Like all of the healing that she did was so valid and so real. Like you said, it'll only get you so far. All right. This is from Monica. Should Feyre have been told? Yes. Should Nesta have been the one to tell her? No. It could have probably been anyone else. Nesta did it to hurt Feyre, not help her. Nesta dealing with her trauma and not feeling understood by the perfect inner circle was looking to break that veneer of perfection and distract from her own woes. In the end, I know Nesta loves her sister. She would have wanted Feyre to have that information she deserved to have, but she used it as a weapon, even a defensive weapon, not out of love and care. I love this idea of like Nesta truly wanted to break the image of this like perfect inner circle. And it's funny because I feel like a lot of initial responses from this book were people saying like, you're just making Rhys look like the villain. Like so much so that people thought that he was actually a villain. Like he had turned evil at some point, right? And it's like, no, you're getting this inner circle from a different point of view and you're taking the lens of Feyre's found family away. And they're not perfect. So yeah, if I was Nesta too, I would love to point out a moment. I was like, oh, you think you're perfect? No. I would relish that. Except for
your found family is still as broken as your real family.
I know, because I am your real family, says Nesta. And then is like, you think they're any... I mean, but that's also part of it, right? It's her essentially saying, do you think they're any better than me?
Yeah. Because really they aren't.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the subtext, right? Is like, I'm so bad that you wouldn't tell me about this. You think they're any fucking better than me? Well, guess what? They suck.
Yeah. Let me prove it to you.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that.
Okay. This is from Erica. I agree with the heart of almost everything Nesta said. I think they respect Feyre because they respect Rhys first. I think they love her and respect her, but the degree to which they do is modeled by Rhys. If he were to break with her, they would too. Maybe reluctantly, but it's Rhys first. I think Nesta demonstrates here the culmination of her feelings of betrayal by Feyre. She has this semi-false narrative about Feyre abandoning her in addition to the jealousy she harbors towards Feyre. This feels like her saying, see, you're exactly like me and no more a part of the family, quote unquote, than I am. And I don't really think she's wrong. Now, totally bad intent. She was out to hurt her sister and 100% should not have gone about it that way. I never considered the location / Amren as an accelerant, but now I need to reread.
Just wait till you listen to the episode, guys. As of right now, tomorrow, episode 3 comes out, which I need to schedule. I forgot to put the ads in. I have to put the ads in. Yeah, I can't wait for you guys. I'd like to hope that we blow your minds this season.
I think so.
I feel like we've done great so far.
I think we've, knocked it out of the park. But maybe I'm too full of myself. I don't know.
No, I think we're just the right amount of full. This is from Raluca. Hi, my lovelies. Here are my 2 cents on Nesta telling Feyre about the baby. I think the way she did it was kind of messed up. Maybe she should have told her the moment she found out. I think this was a way of getting back at Amren and the inner circle, but mostly at Amren for not giving her a choice in her healing journey and forcing her to go a certain path, deciding things that concerned her without her. Actually, now that I think about it, she might have wanted to get back at Feyre for the same reason too. It felt like an explosion of bottled up emotions, but in my opinion, not harsh enough on Amren. I would have doubled down on her before getting to Feyre. LOL, it's true. Yes, what you did was infuriating and unbelievably unfair. You and the others in the inner circle had years, decades, centuries to deal with trauma, but Nesta doesn't. Just because Feyre's healing journey from her trauma looked different, maybe prettier, maybe cleaner, does not mean that every Archeron sister's healing journey has to be the same. We don't know that much about Elain yet, but there's just one interesting, quote, bone in her body. In my opinion, the fact that she's a seer and does some shady stuff in Silver Flames that I have no doubt will at some point resurface. But Nesta telling Feyre about the baby and the way she did felt like a breaking point for her. Gasp, I said. P.S. I will not go into Rhysand's reaction to Nesta telling Feyre about the baby. The world is not ready for the way I dislike Rhysand yet. P.S. I love the podcast and have been since the start. I've waited for Silver Flame seasons for 84 years and I'm loving it so much. Keep up the good work, ladies. I'm sorry we waited 84 years to do it, guys. That's our bad. Yeah.
It's funny. We've waited my entire body's existence because I have the body of an 84-year-old, as I say regularly.
I have a body of an 84-month-old. I don't know how many years that is, Amy.
Divide by 12.
Like that does anything for me, Amy?
My brain, that is 7 years.
Yep, I said it. It's all at Amren. Screw her. I'm not a fan of God, just Amren. Although I like the bringing in Elain. I will always be glad to shade Elain. What is this woman doing? What is she? The fact that she also has powers and still has her powers. Mm-hmm. What has she seen then?
Yeah, I think because, part of the question is, does she actually have control over them? Because if no one's trained her to control them, to some extent, she must not be able to.
But at the same time, yes, like she can't control him. Has she asked Amren to? At one point early on, she's like, they kind of make it clear that she still has powers, which means that there has been a vision at one point, which means she hasn't gone to anyone about those visions. So she's keeping things to herself. She sees things and is keeping that shit to herself. She's probably out here playing the Valaris lottery, hoarding up cash. Can't trust her. Out there playing cards, just snipering Nesta in the corner with her own betting and stuff. Yeah. Astraeum's got to do so much to make me like her. Actually, probably not much. I'm very easily swayed.
Yeah, you are. I think I am too, though.
Oh, yeah.
Just put me in the person's head and I can feel empathy pretty quickly.
I'm just like, put me in, coach.
All right. This is from Alyssa. After watching SJM's interview and her explanation of Nesta and Feyre's pregnancy, I still don't like that it was done at the apartment in anger, and I think that it's just the older sister mentality I have. But also, it should have come from Rhys immediately, but since he thought he knew best, I'm just glad it came from her sister. I think the fandom would have been more pleased if it came from Elain, since she's the softer sister. Nesta knows how to strike hard, and she did that with this revelation because she was so mad at everyone trying to, in her eyes, control her. I did enjoy that part of Nesta's journey, and I think it helped her get to where she needed to be to start healing. Okay, this is a valid question. Do we know whether or not Elain actually knew about the risk to the pregnancy?
Bitch sees, so maybe. I don't know. Like,
yeah, there's no confirmation that there ever is.
I don't think she did because I don't think Rhys thinks that she's smart enough. And I don't mean that in a mean way when I love to be mean to her. I mean that in a way that he does not value Elain beyond like just being like sweet little Elain.
Right. And honestly, Nesta only knows because Cassian told her.
Yeah. I mean, Elain will probably be pissed too. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. The whole thing of like the fandom be happier if Elain told her. I mean, I don't think the fandom would have been happy at all. Like the fandom wasn't happy that she was pregnant, period. And then the fact that Rhys didn't tell her. And then it just kind of snowballs. I don't think he was ready. He wasn't waiting for like the right, how did they phrase it? The right time?
He kept waiting to see if like, does Helian's library have information?
No, but the listener had she worded it in a very specific way.
It should have come from Rhys immediately.
Yeah.
But since he thought he knew best.
So since he thought he knew best. I don't think it comes from a place of he thought he knew best. I think SJM confirmed it came from a place of being absolutely terrified.
Yeah.
And wanting to give her good news.
Yeah.
I think that's like what anything from that interview is like any kind of swagger that we might have thought he had about it. As James confirmed, like, that's not his point of view on that.
Yeah.
And I think his actions show that. Like, he's breaking down. He's having to have Cassian beat the shit out of him. You know, like, he's not in a good spot. And I don't think Elain telling Feyre would have, I mean, Elain is just so dull that I think we would have glazed past that chapter.
I'm going to have to assume Elain doesn't know. Because if
Yeah.
Elain knew and didn't say anything to Feyre, then she's just as shitty as the rest of them.
Yeah.
And I also can't remember to what extent Moore knows. Does she know? I don't think so. I don't think she's come back recently.
Yeah.
Because I think Moore would have been like, you fucking dumbass, just tell her, right?
Yeah. I think Rhys knows that the people that he told are the ones that wouldn't tell Feyre. Because they're the ones who are loyal to him.
Right. They would pick him first.
Yeah, I agree. I think Moore would have talked sense into him and would have been like, I will tell Feyre if you don't. I think that's a really good point. And I never speak highly of Moore. So
Never.
Thank you. You know what? That's one thing I will give Moore. So I feel like she would have told Feyre.
She is a girl's girl.
She is, if it's not Nesta.
Right, right. When it comes to bodily autonomy, Moore gets it.
It's true. I mean, that might be arguably like Rhys knows that he was in the wrong and he has excuses. He lists excuses as to why he doesn't tell Moore. Like, oh, she can't hide a secret. I mean, and he talks about it in the sense that, like, she'll let the other kingdom, like, give it away. But I think that's him admitting she can't keep a secret and would tell Feyre.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Good job.
Thank you, listener.
This next DM is from Sarah. Regarding Nesta telling Feyre, I think the scene and its placement in the book is a great emotional turning point. It showcases that while Nesta is making progress healing the effects of her depression, she hadn't yet addressed the root issues behind her anger and grief. She has spent years feeling controlled by others, including her mother, poverty because of her father, being turned by the cauldron, etc. And Amren's vote not to tell her about the weapons she made exacerbated her feeling untrusted and unworthy. It's quite symbolic then that the setting of this conversation occurs after Nesta finally achieves descending down the 10,000 steps. She was the only one preventing her escape, just like she's the only one who can fully heal her own wounds. I'm doing a reread alongside y'all, and I love being able to pick out more symbolism and meaning behind the text. 10 out of 10. Y'all are my favorite podcast. Book podcast.
My God, thank you. Wait, what? Not
favorite
overall
podcast.
Not overall podcast. You had to put in book pod. Where do we land with your overall? Where do we land? We're like a solid number 5 out of all of them. But thank you. Thank you for listening. Great points. All of it. You guys are killing it. I love that everyone's rereading. Sometimes I'm like, God, I wish you guys could read with us. But like at the same time, we have to be weeks ahead. There's no survival if we're not.
It is an interesting point to think about the 10,000 steps in this context, because when we talked about it yesterday, you know, I was like, well, is this a false victory? Was it earned? But I do like the premise that Nesta has always been the one holding herself back.
Yeah.
And she achieved this victory. And in parallel, like, she needs to push through her own issues to do the full healing. So like, you can do the physical stuff. Now it's time to do the emotional stuff.
Yeah. And I can do the emotional stuff, but sometimes physical stuff is so hard.
I don't want to walk down 10,000 steps. No, thank you.
No. I barely want to do my 20-minute walking after my weightlifting.
Oh, yeah. No.
But I do it because Aaron says so. Do you think she'll ever know that we talk about her on here? Because I'll probably tell her.
Only if you tell her.
Yeah. Alrighty. Sorry, this is just Aaron was saying when I was like, we got to read hers. And she just said that you said her name correctly.
Okay.
That's all the note was.
Okay. All right. So this last comment is from Lisanne. I apologize if I pronounced that incorrectly. For real, though, the new season of your podcast, okay, and maybe SJM's announcement a bit, prompted me to re-listen to the whole series, and I just listened to this part 2 days ago, so here are my more expansive thoughts. I do not think Nesta set out to hurt Feyre when she emerged down the stairs of the House of Wind into Velaris. As the setting of the scene suggests, she wanted to confront Amren. I think it was because Amren was the person she was most vulnerable with since the war and was finally ready to address that specific hurt. in my opinion, it was a more known territory than to confront the others. However, when Feyre showed up, I think it put Nesta in front of a conflict she wasn't ready to address yet. As the whole first half of the book establishes, Nesta's move when she feels cornered or even ambushed is to lash out and hurt people she perceives as a threat. And that is where I think the telling of the truth to Feyre came from. So was it wrong? Yes, because it comes from Nesta's defense mechanism. Is it her fault? I'm not sure. She's traumatized and had not intentionally set out to hurt Feyre. Is Amren at fault? Maybe, LOL. I feel like she had a bait and switch attitude towards Nesta. I know Amren explains during the scene that she stopped being patient towards Nesta because she saw it wasn't helping her heal. But I don't think the way she went about enforcing that decision was right. She could have firstly told Nesta directly instead of just insulting her and ignoring her from then on. One of Nesta's triggers, again, established very clearly throughout the book, is feeling blindsided/ambushed. I think Amren knew that and just played right into it the way she handled her relationship with Nesta. I don't know if my rant answers your questions, but there you go. Anyway, I love your podcast. Thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, I would have found it.
I know Jack would have seen it and been mad I didn't read the compliment.
They love us. Let them know.
I do think that this is an important nuance. Nesta did not set out with the intention to hurt Feyre. She set out with the intention to confront Amren, and Amren did exactly what Nesta does to everybody else, which is lash out, say things that are hurtful because they themselves are hurt as well.
Yeah.
If it had been Cassian who had shown up rather than Feyre, it would have gone a different way. Is it for the best that Feyre showed up so that the news could be shared about the baby? Maybe. But I think it is an important thing to note that it's only because Feyre showed up and treated Amren with more respect than her own sister that Nesta lashed out.
Nesta probably still would not have said a damn thing to Feyre. It was a convenient opportunity. It was a moment of opportunity. It was there and she took it. We cannot give Nesta any kind of credit or props of finding out this information and going, I need to do, well, you know what? Even you can't even give her props of saying like, well, I'm going to hurt Feyre because of this. Like, I'm going to link the two together. She doesn't even link the two together initially. Yeah. It's a moment of opportunity that comes in and she is absolutely hurt and there are similarities. And yes, there are linkages there, but yeah, like Nesta had no intention of telling Feyre. There was no like mental checklist. Okay, I'm going to go chew out Amren. And then after this, I'm going to go hit up Feyre. And then I'm going to go yell at Elain a little bit and then reset. There was no to-do list here. So it adds more into the like wrong category. And again, like what you pointed out, that this is something that Nesta reflects on and says this is the worst thing, like one of the top 3 worst things that she'll always remember, shows that Nesta knows this falls under more wrong. It just has that small, tiny hint of there was a, like, Feyre needed to know, and that's it. But Nesta had no intention to tell Feyre. There was no noble moment here.
Love the conversation we have around this, because this is the kind of thing I want to be able to do as a writer, to present an explosive situation that happens that nobody can agree on if it was right or wrong. Like, to be able to achieve that is masterful. And I think SJM did a fantastic job setting it up. I think she knocked it out of the park. And the fact that we all have such strong feelings about that is just testament to how good she is at what she's doing.
Yeah. I mean, here you have a scene where not a single person here is completely in the right? You have Amren who's saying really mean shit to Nesta, and you're also finding out that she was the one who was not letting anyone help her. And then you have Feyre who, you know, as innocent as she is, as one listener pointed out, is not treating Nesta with the same respect as she's treating Amren, which, yeah, that would be hurtful to like come in and start bossing her around and stuff. But like, to your point, SJM did something where I think is really hard and nailed it. She nailed the shit out of this scene and out of this book. And yes, I was looking for different Silver Flames tattoos. There's the 8-pointed star, but I feel like so many characters have 8-pointed stars where it's like,
yeah, it'll come to you with time.
So we're going to wrap up because it's nighttime and Amy and I have things to do. Mine includes eating.
Yeah.
And Amy probably should too.
Yeah.
We have not gotten to the square box responses. I'll save them for another time. And if you guys want to make sure your responses are read on the podcast, we love a submission form. preferential
It's a brand
treatment.
new submission form on our updated website. Highly recommend it.
We beg you, please. So let's wrap it.
Thanks for listening to Book Talk for Book Talk with Jack and Amy. Join us next week as we dive into chapters 51 through 56 of Sarah J. Maas's A Court of Silver Flames.
If you're enjoying the show, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. It really helps other readers find us. And of course, we'd love to hear what you thought of today's episode. Share your comments through our form at booktalkforbooktalk.com, and we might feature your feedback in a future mini episode or in a Patreon exclusive episode.
For merch and more ways to support the show, head to booktalkforbooktalk.com. You can also follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at the handle Book Talk for Book Talk. And don't forget to join us as we keep the analysis going by subscribing to our Substack to get more insights into the romantasy and romance genres. Head to the subtextsocietyjournal.substack.com.
Bye.
Bye.